Hello everybody. I'm just going to set up my Instagram live really quickly, and then I will be in full attendance of any sort of questions you might have. Yes. So my name is Dia Dynasty, and I am one half of La Maison de Rouge. The other half is Lucy Sweetkill. But it's my turn today, and so we didn't have any guests to interview, and so I just decided I would sit here and, hello, I would sit here and answer questions, because, you know, there's always something to know, something new to ask about, something new going on in the world that's worth discussing. And if anybody on Instagram has questions as well, I am paying attention today to the Instagram. Hi, Bruce. So yesterday we had a really great time at this fundraising benefit for Lysistrata, which is a company or an organization that raises funds for sex workers in need. Is there a creative way to make homemade chastity? I think that I don't know this. I don't really know how to answer this question, because I've never really explored homemade chastity on a male genitalia before. I think that, you know, there's the possibility of using rope and having the rope maybe be secured in an area like around the waist where whoever's wearing the chastity is not able to get to it. But I can't really think of anything like improvisational, like as far as kitchen tools or, you know, beauty gadgets or anything like that that might that might really work. So I'm sorry about that. Hi, Trash Can Tom. He is one of my slaves in training. So while I'm just gonna sit here and not answer any questions just yet, because nobody has any questions, I'll just talk about Lysistrata and how much money was raised for this really great organization. Because as you know right now, things are really challenging for sex workers in general, especially sex workers that work out on the street or don't necessarily have the privilege of having an indoor space dedicated to their work. And so, thank you. So it's necessary for the community to come together and help each other out, because that's what communities do. So Lucy and I were at the St. Andrew's Cross, giving out floggings and spankings and whippings for money, and it was really fun. And it seems like a lot of people were very into the idea of both being a part of the experience as a recipient and also as a spectator. And it's, I mean, I think it's a great way to raise money, is to kind of like put on a mini performance and also have it be kind of interactive. But hey everybody, I'm here, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me, because it's not always, I'm not always available. Hello Wayne Jersey from Florida. Yeah, so that was something that was really exciting. It was produced by quite a few people that we know, one of whom is the creator of Mercy Mistress, Yin Q, and she's been quite the gatherer and kind of like a matriarch figure in our BDSM community, in our Kink community lately, and that's been really nice to have somebody come in and do all these wonderful things and gather so many different people. So how is the current political climate affecting the ProDomme scene? Right now, the current political climate is affecting the ProDomme scene in a way that is not necessarily diminishing the scene as much as it is inconveniencing it, in my opinion, the BDSM scene. I think that the current political climate is definitely a bigger detriment to like the general sex worker scene, but there are obviously, you know, many similarities that the BDSM scene, which is, you know, like maybe of the sex industry, and also the sex worker community are affected through and through in that if there is any exchange of money, sometimes that can be constrained and made difficult for us. And then certain terminology is being flagged on the internet, and in like on the internet, on social media platforms, as well as listing sites that we use for promotional purposes. And so the terminology kind of scales down our ability to use certain types of vocabulary, and of course these words, the lexicon of BDSM is usually what we use to communicate. So limiting and constraining that definitely constrains our reach as well. And then I personally don't know anybody that I'm very close to that has been assaulted or violated, but I do know that there have been many sex workers, including DOMs, that have been targeted and assaulted and violated in some way, shape, or form, because the current political climate is very aggressively it's very aggressively what it is. It's not nice to everybody. It's separatist. It's absolutist, and in a lot of ways, it's exclusionary of many different kinds of people. And so everybody's kind of like arguing about everything. And what we really should be doing is uniting, but that doesn't seem to, be what's on everybody's mind right now. And so the more divided we are, the more otherness there is. And so sex workers are all often at the very bottom of the otherness, in that we bear the brunt of so many other exclusionary groups. And so, like if everybody wants to unite against a group, it could just easily be like everybody's uniting against sex workers, because we are so easily vilified and demonized as homewreckers, or as people that are unreliable, or or unreliable, or unsavory in character, or people with diseases or whatever. And so because of the current political climate being what it is, a lot of people have gone into either hiding, or have come out even more, and are more adamant and more visible, because now is definitely the time to gather and to build strength and solidarity through togetherness. So that's how it's been affected. Like, I think that there's other ways that the political climate has affected the BDSM scene, but I think that it has affected the sex worker scene much more largely. It also, a lot of platforms like social media platforms like Twitter and FetLife are doing a lot of self-censoring. And so again, with the terminology and the lexicon that we all unifiably can agree on and use, it's sometimes difficult to get the word out about some things. Are you into marking your slaves, and if so, what would be your preference? You're welcome. So I'm really kind of into extreme stuff, and I'm not only into extreme stuff, but I like marking my slaves in different ways. I have marked somebody with with cuts before, like using a scalpel or just a rusty nail. No, just kidding, not a rusty nail. A sanitized rusty nail. But I've used that before. I've also used a cauterizing wand, which is heat, and then I've used like a tiny heat filament. And then I've never used a tattoo gun, which I'm interested in doing. And I have also never used branding, which I'm very interested in doing. In fact, I've watched many a YouTube video about how to brand, how to do strike branding, and I'm ready. I'm like, somebody please let me brand them. Of course, there has to be, you know, connection and consent and agreeability of what's to happen and how, you know, ownership plays out. So I would never just like see a total newbie or somebody who is not into being branded or being my property and try to do that to them. Just FYI. If you guys are just now joining us, my name is Dia Dynasty, and I'm here to answer your questions. Craigslist closed. Are you aware of other venues where one might find a dom who wants a domestic? A domestic. Oh, the microblading. Yeah, I think we actually have one. What do you mean by doms who want a domestic? Is like somebody who is a personal slave that the interaction is non-transactional when it comes to money? Because I think that FetLife is still open, and a lot of people use FetLife. There are huge communities on FetLife. There's bigger pockets, smaller pockets of communities on FetLife too. It all depends on your interests. I'm pretty sure that that you can still do that, and that was never really a part of Craigslist. But as far as I know, listings in general, I believe Eros, EROS.com is still open. They have made it very difficult to submit an ad or to maintain an ad, but they're still there. So we still use them. The branding stuff, or, you know, just to go back to the branding with the microblading thing, those do hurt, but I've thought about using the little microblading knife and then rubbing like ash into it, and that would be kind of like a tattoo. It would be interesting. I'd be curious to see what that looks like. So yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for your questions to roll in. I'm just really happy to be here and answering questions. I find it relaxing. You find it relaxing to be to cut somebody or to be cut? I like cutting. I like to use knives, and I like piercing through the skin, but that doesn't really leave a mark. And there is something relaxing about it. I don't know that I find it relaxing to be cut. I do find it relaxing to be tattooed, so maybe that's kind of similar and pretty addictive. I think that we all have slight masochistic tendencies. What are my 3 favorite things to do? Okay, Bruce, do you mean kink-oriented or non-kink-oriented? Because those will probably be different questions, but there might be a little bit of overlap. Okay, so, all right, non-BDSM things that I'm into, also answering non-BDSM top 3 things that I like to do. Archery is one of them. And, okay, gotcha, Jen. Archery is definitely one of the biggest things that I like to do. I love to roller skate. I don't get to do that enough, and I need to really seek that out. And then I really enjoy learning. Right now I'm looking into an apprenticeship with a woman who is an herbalist, And I really like learning about specifically how to sustain life without electricity. And so that's, it's kind of like, goes along the lines of my whole zombie apocalypse fantasy of like where I would live and what I would do and how I would eat and all this stuff. So learning about gardening and learning about healing through herbal medicine and stuff like that is very, very fascinating to me. Let's see, that was just one. Another one of my, that was three. So three favorite things to do that are BDSM related. One of them is to, I don't know, I really actually enjoy teasing people. As long as I can get a rise out of them, I like to play with the idea of like arousing somebody and then not touching them, or touching them very lightly, and then keeping the arousal very, very high and kind of like in a very tantric state. And the thrill of like how somebody who's very desperate looks and feels. And so that was one. And then I also enjoy, okay, so I'll come back to the zombie apocalypse question because that's very important to me. I can go on and on about that. See, two more things that are BDSM related that I like to do, because there's so many. I like to manhandle somebody, like grab them by the face, or grab them by the throat, or grab them by the wrist, and kind of like twist their wrist, or twist their wrist back, or kind of like get very rustly. And sometimes even like using my nails and digging them into their body or their wrists or whatever, or pulling hair, contact. So that's really fun for me. And then last thing I really like to do that's BDSM related would be transformation. So there's many different forms of transformation, from superficial to very deep. I enjoy sissifying somebody, like turning them into a sissy or feminizing them. Feminization, yes. That's definitely a more, it's more visible and palpable as a form of transformation, but it also can be very deep and internal. Yes, I do hypnosis. And then, and so that's like, that's something that's both inner and outer as far as transformation goes, is sissification or feminization. And no, I have not had anybody with a slime fetish, but that would be fun. But another form of transformation is just kind of like slave training, and that's kind of like a long game, like it's not something that happens immediately over the course of 1 hour. And I really like to employ a lot of different tactics and philosophies in slave training, one of which is like Hindu or yogic philosophies. And so let's see if I could scroll through all the comments. Is there a way to do that? No, I can't do that. So, sorry. Is it possible to do something like Public Information does on Kink.com here in the USA? I don't really have an answer for that because I don't watch Kink.com. But what I can say about public humiliation is that if you're going to do something in public, you want to be aware that you are kind of sensationalizing and making a spectacle of yourself in a way that the audience, which is the public, maybe has not consented to. If you were like at a play party, that would be different, but if you were just in public or like at a train bus stop or something, there could be people there that would find whatever it is that you're doing maybe traumatizing or shocking, or just like it doesn't make sense to them and they don't know how to process it, and especially if there's children around. So that's something to be aware of when you're doing public play and public humiliation. So back to the zombie apocalypse question. So I would probably jump in my car with my bug out bag, which has like tents and sleeping bags and water pills and, you know, safety matches and all these survival things, and head up north to Canada. I was looking at a map the other day on my friend's shower curtain, and Canada is really huge. And I know that a lot of it's very cold, but I also think that it's like there's a way to live there and a way to kind of to hide yourself. So I think, you know, I haven't explored this possibility, but I would hope that that would be kind of like my exit strategy, and then I would be able to find another place to go that had a better, more temperate climate for gardening, and start growing my own food. I do not have a trailer hitch on my car. It's too small to like pull. It's too small to even pull another car. It would just be me and probably my cat. So yeah, zombie apocalypse, and I would try to find a way to gather with as many people as I could that I knew, so that we could get together and, you know, be stronger together. Because hopefully everybody would still be intact, and we could all look out for each other, and we all could use our different skills to survive and to rebuild. And then after the zombies are all taken care of, my dream, in fact, is actually to start some kind of commune, and become like have, you know, shape it after some kind of female-led governing body. Me and my cat. You wouldn't take a slave in the trunk. No, I wouldn't. The slave is there to fend off the zombies, and once that job is done, it's just me and my cat. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not like a slave mommy, so hopefully slaves are normal humans in their daily lives that can take care of themselves. You like contacts, so you wouldn't have a problem giving me. You know what? I want to find somebody that I can practice some martial arts movements with, and do, like, you know, like, if somebody's down for this, I would give you a discount on a session, and we would do these self-defense movements that I learned on a video, and I would be able to really practice them. I believe it is Krav Maga. I'm not totally sure. It didn't say on the video. So you would probably get a bloody nose and a black eye or two, and maybe some assorted bruises, but it would be really fun. So if anybody wanted to play that way with me and offer themselves up to that, let's talk. Hey Sharmi, we were supposed to do a selfie yesterday, and yes, that's what so Krav Maga is good for self-defense, and that's what I've heard. Yeah, Sharmi, so I don't know what happened, but we were supposed to do a selfie, and we didn't. How often do you get to Vegas, and what do you do there when you go? I try to avoid Vegas at all costs. I've been there once, and I didn't like it. It's like, I imagine it's like Trump's favorite place. No, it's just like all the things that I don't like about America, all condensed into one little place. And what would I do if I had to go there? I would just probably hide in my hotel room and order room service and watch movies, maybe read a book. I don't like drinking. I don't like, excessive displays of drunkenness. I don't like showiness and like dazzling stuff and loud and, you know, like loud colors and loud bright lights and like, and I don't like any of that stuff. So Vegas would be kind of like a hell on earth. So thanks for asking. Nobody in Instagram land has any questions, right? What do I like about New York in contrast to Vegas? I like, yeah, exactly. Gambling, gaming, not my thing. So in contrast to Vegas, New York has a lot of little pockets of well, greenery, let's say. There's like little parks everywhere, and as much as it is concrete, people that plan the city still make an effort to include greenery. So so I enjoy that about New York, is that the effort is made, and I like the energy of New York. It's very direct. It's very fast paced. It's not about overindulgence. It's not one of those places where it's like, what happens in New York stays in New York, you know, where people come to like sin or whatever, or like, you know, it's like there as much instant gratification as exists in both places. I find that in New York it's just more like kind of, it's a full spectrum of instant gratification rather than just the indulgent ones that aren't really that good for you, which what seems like, you know, Vegas is full of vices and people, I don't know, it seems like a sad place, and New York is not sad to me. It's like, it's hard to keep up with sometimes, and it can be a hustle to live here if you haven't found your niche, but New York is a place for everybody. And that's what I like about it. Let's see. What are your thoughts on mixing kink with alcohol? Staunchly against or no? Well, you are asking a person who doesn't really drink. So, I have experienced clients and other players who have had alcohol. And I find, first of all, I don't enjoy like alcohol breath or like alcohol coming out of your pores. I don't think it smells very good. And alcohol impairs your sense of judgment as well as your ability to feel pain, and sometimes even pleasure. It just kind of numbs you in general. And so I think that that's kind of the antithesis of BDSM, which is to feel. And I'm not staunchly against much, and I don't really, you know, I would hope that anybody that drinks alcohol before they engage in BDSM is aware of how it affects them. And if you're numb, if you're at the point of having alcohol and you're a little numb and you can't feel the pain so well, it might force you to, or it might allow you to take more pain than you're used to, or that you know, can soberly handle, and then regret it afterward, or just not, you know, feel like you were in a good place to make that kind of decision. So I don't really recommend it. I don't really have any sort of like precautions to people that I see saying know this or know that. But I think that alcohol is probably like my least favorite substance to engage with, just overall, but as well as in BDSM scenes. Whoever asked the last thing here on Periscope, I wonder if I can scroll through and find your, like, I'm trying to find your questions, and it doesn't seem like that kind of stuff shows up like it does on my phone. So I missed your last question, and I'm sorry. If you could ask it again, I will do my best to answer it, because I was in the middle of answering somebody else's question, in case you didn't notice. So maybe if you have a question and I'm in the middle of talking, just give me a second to finish talking. Do you think you will ever get married? Anything you'd recommend to do in New York to properly experience BDSM to its fullest? Okay, so do I think I'll ever get married? No. That was easy. And then as far as experiencing BDSM to the fullest in New York, I would recommend, here's what I think you should do. I think you should find maybe 2 or 3 DOMs to contact. And depending on how many days you're here, have sessions with 2 or 3 DOMs. And if there's one that you especially like, maybe have several sessions with the one DOM. And then after your first session with whoever you really like, maybe see if they would be open to taking you to a party, like a fetish party, or like paddles, which is a BDSM club, and I think that would be a pretty full experience. There are tons of play parties in New York, and they're happening all the time, and some of them are like more specialized towards certain demographics, and some of them are very open, and it's always a fun time if you've never been to a play party in New York, because New York has a really great, thriving BDSM scene that's very rich, and there's all different ages of people. And yesterday, even at the Kink Out event, which is a kink-oriented charity benefit, we had people of all ages come, and everybody was just so gorgeous and fun, and you know, there was like definitely some play happening, and people were dressed up, and people were just, you know, just really meeting each other and being social and having a great time. It was a great vibe. I don't think that there were any problems like that security had to take care of. So that's what I would recommend doing. And I wouldn't recommend asking me to go to a party though, because I'm not very social. Do you attend a party each week? No, I don't attend much parties. I don't attend parties at all. What motivates you to be a ProDomme? Okay, so I caught that and I'm going to remember it. So I don't go to parties at all unless I'm actually working, either making money or using my time to volunteer to benefit some other cause. And play parties are kind of hard for me because I play on a regular basis with my clients in a one-on-one format that I enjoy more, because I'm kind of an introvert, and I find socializing to be really overwhelming. And last night was no different. In fact, it was more overwhelming than I've ever experienced. And this is not to say that parties are not fun. It's just to say that I am easily overwhelmed in a social setting. So so there's that. And then so what motivates me to be a Dom? I really enjoy playing with power dynamics, and to get to do it in this context where I get to, you know, it's play. It's like, it's not serious. It's our little sandbox, and to have this space in my life to get to indulge in my whims and to meet other people who are also kind of interested in the same things or similar things. I think that it's probably such a privilege for somebody to get to do what they love, as well as make money at it and make a career out of it. So one of the things that deeply drives me is really making connections with people and trying to help them in some way if they're looking for that kind of help. And a lot of times it's like, you know, you go to a dominatrix to play out your sexual fantasies, and that's kind of what you're focused on. But there can also be other aspects of your life that maybe need a little bit of discipline or structure, and sometimes you need somebody to kick you in the pants for that. And not that I'm offering to be your health coach or your mom, but you know, sometimes it's like those things can be integrated into domination as well, and so I really enjoy that kind of integration or that intersection. And so whatever question just popped up, I didn't see it again because I'm in the middle of answering another question. And if you could repeat that again, that would be great. And so what fuels me is making these like real connections with people and really helping them to transform in some way, whether it's a small thing, whether it's like, you know, losing some pounds or trying to, you know, curb a habit that's kind of destructive, to something larger like maybe a spiritual practice or a philosophical approach to life, or even facilitating like a huge transformative experience through plant medicine or something. So I think that these are all possibilities within female domination and the ProDomme craft, and I really enjoy bringing all these different components and elements and tools into what I do. And I do have a tendency to grab onto or gravitate more toward mystical and metaphysical tools. And so using those, and, you know, like I'm already in my vanilla life, I'm already kind of an adventurous spiritual person, a spiritually adventurous person. So bringing those into my craft is also something that really fuels me. Okay, so ask your question again, please, because I missed it as in the middle of talking. And do we have any Instagram questions here? Nope. Okay. You wish you could experience feminization on a daily basis. How would you go about this? Oh, well, that's easy. Thank you, Celeste, for your question. So, okay, so femdom and feminization are obviously two different things. Is Timbus, if you would like to experience feminization on a daily basis, I would recommend you go to like Victoria's Secret or someplace that is very full of femininity, and and buy some panties, or buy some like little like body spray that smells kind of flowery, and you know, you could start out with like a 7-day panty pack, and you can have one pair that you wear each day under your clothes, and nobody has to know. And you can even spray it with like the, you know, like candied apple body spray or whatever it is, so that you not only are wearing it, but you get a whiff of it every little, you know, few minutes, or, you know, throughout the day. And that's one very discreet way that you can experience feminization. Femdom every day is something that you have to set up with somebody who is obviously, like, if you want a femdom, like a female dominant, you have to set something up with them. And whether they are lifestyle or pro, it has to be something that is structured and something that they are willing to help you out with. So if it's something like you can only eat, you know, twice a day, or whatever it is that, you know, if you have some sort of agenda or some kind of intention that you're trying to achieve, or if it's just regular female domination, it could just be that she's got you in a chastity device, or she's got you wearing some form of a collar, or, you know, some little trinket that reminds you that she's the one in control. Or it could also be a daily ritual thing where you wake up every day and you pray to your goddess, and you make her an offering of, I don't know, like you make her an egg or whatever. And it could also be something that happens, maybe not every day, but regularly, like once a week, where it's like you go to church and it's like you're praying to your goddess or your mistress. So there are many ways to do it, both tangibly and kind of mentally and emotionally. Hopefully that helps. Let's see, we got a question. How about strap-on play, mistress? Is it hurt? And then how did you learn of all the aspects of business craft as you built your fempire? Okay, so hi Vincent. So strap-on play, is it hurt? I would say that strap-on play is not meant to hurt, and if it does, then hopefully either you've asked for it to hurt, or it's a small accidental thing, because it's not it's not supposed, like, anal pain I don't think is a desirable pain, in my opinion. So unless the person that you're playing with doesn't know you and is careless with the strap-on and your body, then it shouldn't hurt. And then I learned all the aspects of the business craft both by being at a house. I used to work at a dungeon. And so I learned a lot of things about the way that they ran their business and was able to kind of apply it to the way that I run my business. And also more recently and also more comprehensively through my business partner, Lucy Sweetkill, who has a degree in business and is like the, you know, like the most elegant hustler I've ever met. She is somebody that I thank every single day for being where I am. Yeah, so I started working at the house when I first moved to New York. I answered an ad on Craigslist for this place. It looked like the perfect thing. And I've always believed that the internet was kind of like a portal into anything that you could ever want or need, as long as you wanted or knew what it was. So I was kind of vaguely looking for something that was in the realm of sex work, even though that term did not exist in my mind. And it said, you know, Chinatown Dungeon, looking to hire, no experience needed, full fetish wardrobe provided, we'll pay for training, and, you know, like all this like really enticing stuff. And so I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. And so I went in and met with the headmistress. This was 2017, 2018? No, that's where we are now. 2000 and end of 2008. So it's been almost like 10 years. So I went in and met the headmistress, interviewed her she interviewed me very quickly, and then the next thing we did was set up a photo shoot. So it happened very quickly that I was hired, and did the photo shoot, and then started the training sessions where I basically shadowed the headmistress. And the very first training session that I did, I left feeling high. Like, I didn't take any drugs, but my head was like floaty. I was in top space, and it was the most magnificent feeling, and I just didn't ever look back from there. Let's see, more questions from Instagram. Do you prepare the equipment for feminization? I mean the shoes, stockings. Yes, all of that is prepared. We have a full sissy closet, and we have shoes in every man's size. Okay, so toxic masculinity thing, how do you feel about masculinity in a healthy way? Masculinity needs to be redefined. So I think that the old paradigm of masculinity of, like, you know, be stoic, don't show emotion, or, you know, boys don't cry, or whatever, that's out. Like, that is out with the garbage. And so because that's out, what do we do in place of that? You know, are we all a bunch of like crying babies now? It's like what do we replace toxic masculinity with? And so there's, I think this needs to be actually an entire Periscope broadcast theme or topic. But first of all, men, just like, yes, I would like to see you cry. Men, just like women, are emotional creatures. Maybe women are a little more in touch with their emotions and can manage them a little bit better, or are just more shameless about expressing them. And because we weren't growing up with anybody telling us, you know, like, big girls don't cry. Oh, wait, maybe we were, but I wasn't. So we are, we feel maybe less fettered or less stigmatized in the way that we express our emotions. And that's one of the things that I feel like I deal with pretty regularly is men of a certain generation who haven't really learned how to process their emotions and to just be with them. And so they do a lot of acting out, they do a lot of like non-talking, and then just like whatever the next thing that they do is based on whatever emotion hasn't been digested. And then there's also the idea, like the greater theme of embracing your feminine side. So for a man and for women alike, we all have masculine and feminine energies within us, and they're the energetic components of every human. And some are more masculine and some are more feminine, and some are, you know, all the things that, you know, are non-binary as well. And so Jung refers to this as anima and animus. So these components of our energies are what we, you know, how we make ourselves whole by embracing these energies to help us get through hard times, to help us see things more clearly, to help us. There's another question that I'm not going to answer because I'm answering a question right now. And so all of these, this masculine and feminine energy, I think that a lot of men have focused on the masculine side of their energies and really pushing that out there for whatever reason, many reasons. And the feminine energies have been kind of like, you know, cast away. And so feminine energies are emotions, are appreciating beauty and harmony, like harmonizing things, and also making a home and nurturing, like caring for somebody in a softer way, communication, and so these things, because they've been neglected for so long in so many different types of people who are focused on being men or masculine, these are the things that we need to balance out, you know. And so I think that what would be helpful is instruction, like clear, defined instruction, step-by-step instruction for how men can embrace their feminine side. Thank you, Sharmi. Thank you for saying that. I mean, you know, we're all people. We're all hopefully helping ourselves to overcome certain things. And if there's any sort of wisdom or insight or advice that we can offer somebody else, like why not? It's not like I'm sitting here giving this stuff away for free. So why not take it? It's not always free though. So there's another question on Instagram, and then that will be the last question. Would you or Mr. Sweetkill ever consider writing a memoir? That's such a great question. You know, we should, because we have such interesting lives. But I've considered writing a memoir, and it really is just about kind of like sitting down and getting stuff down on paper and then coming back to it later. Right now, I'm just, you know, I'm going to say this even though I know that I can do better. I'm really, really busy. But I think I can do better. I think I can carve out the time and make it a priority. So thank you for asking that, Deadly Spinster Venom. So I know that Estimbus asked a question, and I told him that I wasn't going to answer it because he keeps doing the same thing over and over again and ignoring my direction to wait until I'm finished talking to ask me the next question. So I'm actually finished answering all your questions, and it's been almost it's been almost an hour. Yeah, I mean, I do that in session. I'm not going to sit here and describe it to you. So, because that's, you know, that would be just giving away all my secrets, and I'm not going to do that here. You'll just have to book a session and find out. So thank you guys for being so polite and for tuning in. And those of you that I saw last night, it was great to see you guys at the charity benefit for Alyssa Strada. And everybody else, I believe Lucy and I will be together here next week. Good night, Vincent. With a guest, and I don't remember her name right this second, but she seems really interesting. Thank you, Celeste, and and thank you everybody who tuned in again. And my name is Dia Dynasty, and I'll see you next week.